All right, I'll call to order the Finance Committee meeting for Thursday, December 9th. We stand for the prayer given by Councilman Valentine, and then the pledge.
As we pause to pray tonight, we want to remember Miss Janice Brown's mother, Miss Gladys Miet, in their time of need. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Father, we ask you for swift recovery of Miss Gladys Miet. Lord, we ask blessings on our meeting tonight. Ask blessings on all of our council, their families, our administration, and our workers across the parish. Protect them during this time of winter and working as they go about their daily chores, Father. We ask, as always, for our men and women in uniform, both abroad and at home. And we ask all these things in your Son's holy name. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Cinnamon, all members present. There are no chairs additions. Reminder on the public comment period. If you want to speak, please sign in with Cinnamon. And we'll begin with our finance report section with the sales and use tax report for the month. Gwen?
Thank you and good evening, members of the Finance Committee. You have before you your monthly finance report on the sales tax districts, East Ascension Drainage, Sales Tax District number 1, and also Sales Tax District number 2. This is the second to last report for the year. Next month we'll give the last report.
Gwen, I'm sorry, is your mic on? It's hard to hear you.
Well, I don't know.
Is it? Okay.
It's lit up. Now is it better?
A little bit. Maybe you just have to yell.
Okay, this is the month of November's collections. It represents October sales. You can see in the middle column the November compared to date to last November of 09. And you can see in each sales tax district the month comparison is down in all three, and the year to date in all three it doesn't look quite as bad. It's down little under 1% for East Ascension Drainage, 3% for Sales Tax District number 1, and 2.94% for the Sales Tax District number 2. On the far right-hand column, you can see the budget comparison. The first is our column on that end is the 2010 budget and the 2010 collections, which includes all the audits, and then what's remaining of the budget and the percent comparison to the budget today, which we're at 91.66% of the year in sales tax collections, and you can see that we're almost at budget in East Ascension Drainage. We're over budget in the 2 sales tax districts. We anticipate ending year 2010 either a range of 1 to 3% below 2009 on collections alone, but compared to the budget, we anticipate ending the year in drainage about 7% over budget, and in our 2 sales tax districts, somewhere between 9 and 10% over budget. The following are the the monthly charts that you're familiar with. You can see on that first one how we're pretty close in all sectors except for business to business. And then the pie chart is just trying to give you a kind of a picture of what sectors we're collecting our taxes in. And then interesting on the history chart, the last page, you can see the remainder of the year and where the valley between when sales taxes last dipped in after 2001, it was like a 1, 2, 3 year recovery before it started really increasing. So with this 2010 not too far behind 2009, we hope that time will be much shorter this time, and we hope 2011 will even be as good as, if not better than, 2010. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Questions? No? Okay.
And if not, I'll turn it over to Amanda Barat to do the revenue and expenditure report.
Good evening. This is the financial report as of the month of October 2010. On page 1, your total revenues are at 70.96%. On page 2 are the expenditures, which are at 59.74% at 83.33% of the year. On page 4 and 5 of the report is an explanation of the items that are highlighted in green that are 5% under budget for revenues and 5% over the budget for expenditures at this point of the year. On page 3 of the report are charts that compare the year-to-date revenue and expenditures for operating and capital to the budget. And the last page of the report is a listing of all checks issued in the month of October that were over $100,000 for a total of $1,315,683.30. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer at this time.
Councilman Joseph?
On the HUD section 8,
Yes, sir.
I see we over. We have,
We over on the expenditures because some of the special programs were closed out and we had to refund HUD, but we had the money that came in at the beginning of the programs from last year that was in the fund balance. So that's why the expenditures are showing more. We had to reimburse HUD back for those programs after they closed. Right, right.
Councilman Schicksnyder?
What programs does that entail?
That was from monies that, from the hurricanes Gustav and Katrina that HUD sent the money to FEMA and then FEMA sent money to HUD and then HUD sent it to the local governments to operate the funds to replace the people that were out of their homes for the hurricane.
Okay, that goes through for the people that lost housing?
Yes,
Okay.
that qualified for the
Right.
HUD, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's what.
Okay, any further questions for Amanda? No, thank you. We'll move on to item number 7 on the agenda, our bid items for the month. Joan?
Good evening. On December 9th, 2010, the Purchasing Department received 2 bids for bridge material. The bids were received from Bayou Forest and MCM Lumber. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from MCM Lumber.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Bell. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes.
On December 9th, 2010, the Purchasing Department received 4 bids for bridge for wash gravel. The bids were received from Scott Singleton General Contractor, Ernest Martine, New Limits Enterprise, and MST Enterprises. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from Scott Singleton General Contractor.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Bell. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes.
On December 9, 2010, the Purchasing Department received 4 bids for river silt. The bids were received from South Louisiana Field Materials, New Limits Enterprise, Ernest Martine, and MST Enterprises, LLC. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from South Louisiana Field Materials.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Bell.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I got a question.
I see
Councilman
there they
Schicksnyder.
have-
Go ahead.
I see there they have another vendor with the same amount. Why did we pick one? What was the reason for one over the other?
The other one of the bids had a condition in it that they would not be able to supply the material if the Mississippi River rose at his pit.
And
So we,
the other one assured you that they could if the water was high on the river?
no, we didn't get assurance from the other one. He just didn't have a stipulation in his bid package.
So what if he comes along with his contract and he says during certain times that the river's too high? I mean, I just want to know if they're getting their sand in the same place, and I don't know. But I do know, I do know it's
Doesn't
general
matter, he's
practice.
obligated.
Yeah.
He's obligated, it gives us opportunity to sue him if we have to.
That's what I'm asking.
When he put a stipulation in his bid, he made his bid non-responsive.
Okay.
So we determined I did consult Tony in legal, and it was determined that his bid was non-responsive because of the stipulation.
Okay.
But I
All right.
can't guarantee the other vendor may not have the same problem.
Okay. Well, I think that's something gonna come up some more, so just please check in the future, I know. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Councilman Joseph?
I guess our contract does state that, I mean, like Mr. Valentine said, that they're obligated to give us sand from wherever. They just can't say, well, oh, we ran out of sand, right? And so they don't have to meet the obligation. So our contract protects us.
Yes. And if
That's
they
all, ma'am.
can't, we did make them non-responsive, and we move on to the next low bidder.
Question.
Councilman Kluwat?
So if anybody puts a stipulation in their bid and their bid becomes null and void or what? It's thrown out?
It's called being non-responsive.
Right.
Because they're addressing things that we didn't ask for in our bid package.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any objection? Motion passes.
On December 9, 2010, the Purchasing Department received 3 bids for 30-pound riprap. The bids were received from New Limits Enterprises, MST Enterprises, and Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Bell. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Kluwat?
Quick question. What's on Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel? They've got something that says $6.50 trailer and $7 triaxle.
That's how they'll transport the material, but if you add $6.50 to the $29, it still remains the lowest responsive bid, and if you add $7 to their base bid, it still becomes the lowest responsive bid.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other discussion? Any objection? Motion passes.
On December 9, 2010, the Purchasing Department received 8 bids for limestone grade 610. The bids were received from New Limits Enterprises, Ernest Martin, MST Enterprises, Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel, Bear Industries, Vulcan's Material, Scott Singleton General Contractor, and Martin Marietta Materials. After review, the Purchasing Department and DPW recommend accepting the lowest responsive bid from Vulcan Materials.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Pat Bell. Discussion? Objection? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, the contracts report for the month. Is anybody else missing that? Other than me? Does anybody have that? Okay, we don't have that in our
the
packet.
monthly contracts report for November in your packet.
We don't have it.
It's listed.
No, that's the contract, that's the contract renewals, right?
Talking about the report.
I was just talking about the report for the month.
No, it's the
Oh, we're
monthly
gonna do-
contract
okay,
reports.
So then, pass on item 8, I guess, and go right into the contract renewals for 2011.
Okay.
Kemlin, thanks. Are we, do you have any kind of overview? These are all just renewals, same price, same terms, what have
For
you?
the 2011 renewals?
2011, yes.
Let me look. All of the over 50,000 2011 renewals, Dr. Barnes, Shake Snyder, as you can see, most of them on the list are the same as last year we're renewing. Burt Klein-Peter, Camp Dresser are projects that we're currently working on. The contract amount that you see is what we initially entered the contract for. We have a couple of years on both of those, so we'll continue spending the monies that were approved last year. We're just extending the contract. So we're not coming before you for an additional funds on those.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
The receivables on the very last page. We have the lease for staging at Lamar Dixon with BP. We're renewing that one at $60,000. We have the lease of the east entrance and parking area, which is $105,000. We're only ratifying that contract.
Okay. Kemlin, are you finished, or? I'm sorry, I
Yes,
don't wanna cut
the
you
others
off.
are without change.
Okay. Councilman Kluwer.
Yeah, I just want clarification. I'm sure it's a typographical error on item E on contract renewals. You got Camp Dresser McGee, and where it's written is Marvinboro Pump Extension at Henderson Bayou,
Yes, sir.
and that would just be the Henderson Bayou pumping station.
It's two separate basins.
Yes, two
Okay.
separate basins, so you can scratch the Marvinboro Pump Extension
Okay.
at.
Okay, I'm assuming we'll need a vote on every one of these individually?
Should.
Okay. Any general questions before we kind of go through these then?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Shake Snyder.
well, on point of order, if there's no objections, can we lump them as one, and if there's any objection to pull them out?
She said each one.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Just clarification.
Councilman Kluwer.
Yeah, clarification that item number 8 doesn't really exist, or it's just, it was part of item number 9, or?
No, actually, I have the monthly contract report for November, and Tim said it's not in your packet. But I can tell you what they are. We entered 5 contracts in the month of November. One with Allen and LeBlanc. The agreement was to perform a camera test to determine the severity of a bulge in a pipe on Marchand Street in Hillaryville. That's not to exceed $1,200, and the term is until completion. We have Reich and Associates. We amended the contract for Oak Grove parking lot to include an additional $1,500.
Excuse me 1 second. It's 1,800 on the Allen and LeBlanc. We had added 600 because they ended up doing 2 tests.
Okay.
1,800.
Allen and LeBlanc has been increased to 1,800 because we're going to do 2 tests instead of 1 on the bulge. Can you explain why? Okay. Again, for Reich and Associates, the contract was for $22,400. We increased it by $1,570, which made it $23,900. Spencer Harvey was given a contract to manage and maintain the Parish of Ascension's youth basketball program for 5 months, beginning in October, continuing through March of 2011 for $6,500. Water Science, the contract was issued for administration of parish water and sewer utility systems from January 1st of 2011 through December 31st of 2011 for $7,000 monthly. PSC Environmental Services was issued a contract to collect materials donated by Ascension Parish residents for Household Hazardous Materials Day. not to exceed 49,000.
Okay, Kimlin, if you don't mind, can you email that to the members of the committee, since that is just
Yes.
purely an informational item for us?
Okay,
We don't really need any, we don't need to ever do a motion or anything like that, so. But
okay.
it would be great if you could email us for future reference.
I sure will.
We will move on to item 9 then, and 9A. We'll get into the contract renewals for 2011. Dr. J. Robert Barnes to provide psychiatric and medical services to mental health patients in the parish not to exceed $88,000.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Kluwat. Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Discussion. Objection. Motion passes. Item B, Dr. Shakespeare to provide psychiatric and medical services to mental health not to exceed $164,300.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Thompson. Second by Councilman Bell. Discussion, Councilman Todd Lambert.
Why is there such a big difference in cost? They both doing the same work, or should I say practice? Could y'all explain to me why it's almost a double price on that? One's 88,000, one's 164,000.
It's the amount of time. The contracts, Shake Snyder works almost full-time. I don't know the exact hours, but it's a lot more hours than Dr. Barnes.
Okay.
Dr. Barnes
So
is
one's
like-
part-time, one's
Yes,
full-time?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. Item 9C, Hartman Engineering, retainer contract for wetland delineation and permitting consulting, $75,000. Motion by Councilman Bell, second by Councilman Thompson.
Yeah. What he did,
Discussion.
86,000.
Objection. Motion passes. 9D, Burke Klein Peter Engineering Services for Marvin Bro Pump Improvements, $996,108.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bell, second by Councilman Kluwat. Discussion. Objection. Motion passes. 9E, Camp Dresser and McKee to Reed, Henderson Bayou, $1,581,000. Motion by Councilman Dempsey Lambert, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9F, Manchac Group, Bayou Francois, Black Bayou, and Severio Canal Reforestation Project, $50,000.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Shakespeare, second by Councilman Kluwat. Discussion? Objection? Motion passes. 9G, the Prevost Memorial Hospital Inmate Medical Services, $75,000.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Shakespeare,
Second.
second by Councilman Kluwat. Discussion? Objection? Motion passes. 9H, City of Gonzales, intergovernmental agreement between Fire District Number 1 and the City of Gonzales for fire protection services in the amount of $120,000.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Bell, second by
Motion by-
Councilman Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9I, Ascension Parish Fire District Number 3, funding for part-time firefighters, $400,000. Motion by Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Discussion. Objection. Motion passes. 9J, Bookhart Horn Incorporated Engineering Design Services for Parker Road at Ascension Parish, 929, and Roddy Road, $150,000.
So moved.
A motion by Councilman Shakespeare,
Second.
second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9K, Professional Services Industries Incorporated for testing and construction services, $200,000.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9L, SJB Group, Survey Retainer Contract, $100,000.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, second by Councilman Johnson. Discussion? Objection? Motion passes. 9M, Jana King, Janitorial Services at Lamar Dixon in an amount of $60,000.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Kluwat, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9N, John McMillan and Associates, Consultant and Serve as an Advocate of the Parish, not to exceed $86,000. Motion by Councilman Bell.
Second.
Second by Councilman Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. Receivables, 9O, Ascension Parish Fire District Number 3, agreement for the parish to provide certain administrative functions for fire district, 4% annual revenue.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Benny Johnson, second by Councilman Bell. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9P, BP, lease for staging at Lamar Dixon, $60,850 per month. Motion by Councilman Kluwat. Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9Q, BP, lease of east entrance and parking area, $105,000 per month. Motion by Councilman Bell, second by Councilman Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. 9R, Department of Health and Hospitals, to provide assistance for women, infants, and children, $654,084.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Kluwat, second by Councilman Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. All right. We will move on to item 10, discussion of proposed resolution to allow Fire District Number 1 to borrow up to $1.5 million for up to 10 years at a rate not to exceed 5% for the acquisition and equipping of 5 new fire trucks. Malcolm, would you care to give us an overview, please?
Good evening. At the request of the Fire District, I prepared a resolution which says a resolution authorizing and approving the issuance, sale, and delivery of not to exceed $1,500,000 revenue bonds in one or more series of Fire District Protection District Number 1 of the Parish of Ascension, Louisiana. I think they have talked to the council about this particular issue. They want to make this bond issue in order to provide additional fire equipment, including new trucks for Fire District Number 1. And Ted has the breakdown on the numbers as to how it could be funded and what the payback would be. The projected interest rate, if it's done over the shorter period of time, which would be 5 years, would be 3.4%, and that interest rate increases as the longer you go, the more the interest rate. Ted, if you want to go over it in detail with him.
Ted, before you, Mr. Chairman,
Sure. Councilman Valentine?
before you start, President Martinez, he's shaking his head no already. This was on the agenda item for strategic planning, and they pulled it, and we didn't even discuss it. And there was some talk before the meeting at that time exactly why we was doing that. I know I had a conversation with our finance director about it. Okay. And of course, the fire department never came to explain to Mr. Shakespeare's committee, which I'm part of, and some other council members, about this situation. And once again, it's kind of like Prairieville. They came before the finance, and they had to go to strategic planning, which is where it should go to start off with. So, one, I don't know what the administration's stand on it is. Mm-hmm. Appreciate the attorneys and everybody coming to explain to us, but
Well, tonight is I asked tonight before the meeting because I hadn't seen anything on it either until tonight. So I don't think I'm at this time I can comment because I think Mr. Johnson probably knows a little bit more about it than I do. But like I said, I was aware that they were trying to work something out, but until tonight I didn't know what it was.
I know there's some needs, and
Right.
I know that they have some money.
Right.
But typically that's what we would do,
Right.
strategic planning and discuss it and what have you. And I'm not saying that's what it should. If we got the time element, I understand. But a little explanation from the fire department would have been helpful. Mm-hmm. Benny, if you got that, that's fine. But
I don't, like I said, maybe I didn't know it had gone before strategic planning.
well, it was on the agenda, but they chose to pull it that night and didn't discuss it. So.
Well, maybe we can get enlightened a little bit tonight as to how the procedure works, and then maybe it could be sent
Okay.
back to strategic planning,
Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you.
we can all kind of learn a little bit about it tonight.
Councilman Kluwat.
Is there a time frame on this? I mean,
You have to go through bond commission.
Bond
You have to,
I understand that.
And
Is there a time frame on the need? That's
that would,
what you said, Benny? Benny.
Councilman Johnson.
What, the discussion that was taking place earlier before, they were trying to do a different route, and that didn't work for a time frame to save some money because of getting the '09 price as opposed to 2010 pricing on the new chassis and stuff. Unfortunately, we couldn't work, or they couldn't work through the time frame to get that done. So the different routes come about with going out for this bond. They contacted bond counsel and all that to do. So they missed out on that savings, but the rest of it, the rest of the deal they were talking about, buying the 5 trucks under the Lamaze program and getting those savings, going that route is still in place. It'll just be an increase from what they could have gotten the other direction. But as far as not going back towards strategic planning, I'm not sure why it came this way first. That's kind of where I've lost that.
What's the pleasure of the committee as far, Kent, I mean, as far as strategic planning and everything else, would you prefer?
I'm just finding out about it.
Yep.
You know, I know they had a meeting, or they scheduled a meeting to discuss this. They have a special meeting, and I'm not sure whether it was Monday or next, I think it's on the 13th. There's a special meeting on the 13th to decide whether they're going to proceed with new fire trucks, or discussing new fire trucks and or a fire station. And so, to my knowledge, I don't think they've had this meeting yet. So, I don't know. I don't have any answers, but I have plenty of questions.
Then, I mean, I'd like to propose that we.
I might be able to answer
Oh,
something.
here we go.
That's what we need.
The meeting Monday night is to discuss the fire station out of Pelican.
Can you come up to the mic? Can you come up to the mic and?
Identify
Meeting
yourself.
Monday night
And
is
for the
to,
Brent, I'm sorry, for the public, can you just introduce yourself and?
I'm Brent Smith. I'm a member of the Fire District Number 1 Fire Board. The meeting Monday night's to discuss the proposal for the fire station out at Pelican Point and to discuss the financing for the 5 fire trucks. I'm not sure exactly what all happened with with the other planning session. I was out of the country at the time. I am in charge of the apparatus committee, and we've been working on trying to come up with a proposal to buy these trucks to get our fleet where it needs to be. Right now, we're still running some trucks that were donated by Laplace that are 70 models trucks. So we really need to do these trucks to get our fleet up to where it needs to be at.
I'd like to say something.
Councilman Schexnayder.
And we appreciate, please step up, because we make sure we have no doubt the need for fire trucks in this district. We've been begging for this, and there's no doubt that there's a need at some point in time to be able to find a way to fund it. But as far as knowing the particulars of this is the first that we've seen any of this. It's hard for us to act upon this whenever we haven't gotten to that point yet. And normally it goes through strategic planning with a plan that we can look at and take a look at how we should proceed. And that's our normal basic action. And so I don't know how or why it,
No, I'm not sure
came here,
either.
and somewhere along the line there was some miscommunication, and we're glad to look at it. We're glad to, if we have to have a special meeting to make sure that we do things in a timely manner, we'd be glad to do it. But I just think right now for us to proceed with something like this without any more information, it would be very hard to do.
Whatever your guys' wishes are, we'll be more than happy to meet with you. I can get with Gene and the other board members and try to meet with y'all whenever you guys would like to. Obviously, we'd like to try to get it approved through the next parish meeting to go out to the bond commission so we can get it out there in January.
We just have to have the information, that's all.
Okay, what all information, and let us know when you guys want to meet, and we'll try to meet with you. Or if y'all are available Monday night, we're going to have that meeting Monday night, and we'll be discussing the trucks then too.
I would suggest that you get the necessary information to the strategic planning members of the committee, and Cinnamon, you can address Cinnamon on that. She will make sure it gets disseminated. And anything that you think we need and any contact numbers, and we can find out any questions that we have. And that way we can move it forward and give us some time frames that we need if we have to hit a deadline.
So can I get that in the form of a motion to defer it back to the strategic planning committee, or do you want to offer that in the form of a motion, so we just
Chairman.
send that to the?
One question.
Yeah.
I guess, and I brought it up earlier, but I don't know if we got an answer. Do we have a deadline on this as far as getting it moved to the bond council? That way we can figure out if we gotta have a special meeting or not. What,
What's going to happen is, I mean, I have a timeline here set up based upon, approval of the resolution at the next council meeting. And if that happens, once you start up the process and go through the publications and the bond commission meeting, we predicted that the closing on the bonds could probably take place at the end of February or beginning of March. If we don't do this by November 23rd, we'll miss the deadline for the application for the bond commission's next meeting. Now, sometimes they will allow exceptions to that, but the normal rule is that if you don't meet that deadline, then you have to wait till the next bond commission meeting.
Councilman Kluwat?
Yeah, I agree with Kent, but I don't see it going, even if we have a special meeting, it not coming back to finance before the next
And council,
meeting.
yeah.
Before the next council meeting.
The-
Is there a strategy to get?
May I say something?
Yes,
Something we've done
please.
before?
Councilman Shakes.
We have done it before where we approved to go forward pending approval of a committee to allow it to go to the full council, where the committee could have a special meeting and make recommendations to the full council. That'd be the only way you could do it. I'm just trying to think of a possible way. Other than that, I agree with you, the time frame is too short.
So
So what you're saying is we could pass this tonight pending, and then we still, but refer to strategic planning for a final blessing of the strategy, and then it would go
And
to
then
council.
the full council.
Yeah.
That's the only way you could get the timing down. It's a little reverse of what we normally do, but
Right. Parish President?
If I recall, in the earlier when they were gonna trying to borrow the money with the parish or however, which way it was gonna be, they had a deadline of buying these chassis because of the price was gonna change, or making a commitment. Is that something that's still?
That's true. That's correct.
That's pretty well out the window because
Yeah,
that
we
would
lost
have to
that
be done by the end
opportunity.
of the year.
We lost
That's what I'm
that
saying.
opportunity.
I didn't.
oh, well, then we
So again,
don't have an immediate time.
The
Yeah.
time frame now is based on getting the bond to the bond commission for approval to
Right.
get the money.
but it doesn't matter, the price-wise, that's out the window.
No,
That's
that's
not like
out
an
the
urgent
window.
deal.
Right.
The
And we're also a
chassis are
normal
gonna cost
process.
us a little bit more now.
Then therefore, I think we ought to follow our normal process.
Yep.
So,
I got a quick question.
okay, Councilman Kluwat.
Yeah, Brent, where are these trucks at?
The trucks, they would be through Ferrara.
I know, but where
You
they
got
going? What
different departments.
what five, where?
It would be the,
I know you got, I
it
know
would
we got
be
some
the
more ones
main,
out there.
it would be the first response trucks for Fifth Ward, Geismar, Seventh District, Sanama, and Sorrento.
You'd have to bid them, though, is what you're saying.
No. It's
No,
the
they would be
Lamaze
bought
trucks,
through the Lamaze state
State
contract.
contracts?
they bought one a year or
State
two ago.
contracts.
Gives it a different.
I got
Okay,
another-
so,
not a- it's not
this is
a-
all
it's not a
questions,
hurry.
those are all questions for the strategic planning
Yeah.
committee, if we're gonna go that
that's
route,
correct.
really, to figure out the strategy, figure out where, all of this kind of stuff,
We
so.
got time to vet that
Are
through.
we gonna have that in the form of the motion to?
Yeah, I mean,
Malcolm got one more thing he'd like
Just
to
for your
Okay,
information,
Malcolm.
the deadline for submission to the bond commission is December the 17th. So we can make application, but you would have to have a council meeting and approval of the resolution before that time.
we can't,
Or you'd have to rewrite the resolution.
That's correct.
Yes,
we can't do that.
right, so,
It's
We'd have to read
impossible.
the resolution if we decide to send it back to the normal process.
Okay,
And it would just be a later bond commission.
okay.
Yeah. February. I mean, there's, okay.
So that would just put us back a month or two.
Right.
Again, everybody here realizes the need, and we want to address the needs, and certainly we want to do it, but we need to make sure we go through the correct process. So with that, a motion to send this to strategic planning so we can.
Okay. Motion by
Get the
Councilman
adequate
Sheikh Snyder to
information.
send this back to strategic planning, second by Councilman Johnson. Discussion, opposition, motion passes. All right, thanks. Item number 11, annual funding for the Southeastern District Livestock Show. Mr. Mike Hebert.
Okay, good afternoon, evening. My name is Mike Hebert, and I'm the county agent in Lafourche Parish, but I'm also the manager of the South Central District Livestock Show that is held in Gonzales at Lamar Dixon Expo Center. This year, we are celebrating our 10th anniversary, and for the past 9 years, the Ascension Parish Council has provided financial support for our livestock show in the amount of $10,000 annually. This show is composed of 7 parishes. Approximately 250 families participate in this show. And what I'm here for tonight is to ask for your continued financial support of our livestock show. Now, it's my understanding that y'all have either proposed and may have already accepted that we reduce that funding to $8,000. And if that is the fact, well then, let me just say that I appreciate your support of $8,000. If it's not a done deal, well then I'd like to ask for our original funding that you've always had. But I'm from Lafourche Parish. I understand the situation that y'all are in. We're also in the same positions, and I do appreciate whatever financial help you can give us, because we rent the Lamar Dixon facilities, we pay for the police for security and the ambulance folks and everyone else. So if y'all have already decided on that, I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kluwat.
I make a motion that we support the livestock show per our budget amendments, and that would be in the amount of
Section
$8,000.
Motion by Councilman Kluwat, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Discussion?
One discussion.
Councilman Dempsey Lambert.
If we see fit, since we hosting this event, I would like to bring it back up to the original 10,000, if it's in it. That's all I'm saying. I think we're going to revisit as the year goes on the other events that we sponsor. So if we see fit, I'd like to bring it to the original 10,000. If not, keep it at 8. Thank you.
And I appreciate that, and, you know, if it stays at the 8, well then, thank you very much. And for next year, if it, you know, is not revisited, if we can renegotiate it next year again. But I want to invite all of you to come by the show. It's February the 3rd through the 5th, and if you have the time, I'd appreciate it and encourage you to come by Lamar Dixon for the livestock show.
Okay. Councilman Sheikh Snyder.
Yeah, Mr. Hebert, thank you very much, and we really do support you very much. And, you know, unfortunately, we've had to have budget cuts, and this has been some. And we've talked about at midterm, taking a look at all these and see if one day we can try to put something back. But right now, we're at about a 20% cut on everything. So
I understand completely. And again, like I said before, y'all have supported us for the last 9 years.
We want to continue.
And I appreciate your support as we go into our 10th year, and hopefully we'll have many more.
Okay.
Hopefully we can get you more later on.
Thank you.
All right, any objection? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Johnson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Meeting adjourned.